Hey, Dr. Brandy here. I'm really excited to be back with you. For those of you who've been following along, I'm on day 8 of my 10-day cleanse, which I think I'm going to extend to 30 because I'm feeling so great. I'm sitting here drinking my little green smoothie and loving it. Um, yeah, a lot of things have changed with me. When I started this all off, if you remember, I had joint pain and fatigue and was feeling crappy in my body. I was gaining weight. I was moody. I wasn't sleeping well. Had joint pain like almost in every joint of my body. And it's not my way of being in the world to feel like that. Back when I was really heavy, and if you haven't seen the previous videos about food addiction and that stuff, go back and watch them because you'll see where I came from. I've brought myself a far way along the health path, and I'm really excited to have done that. But over the past 3 or 4 weeks, I felt like prior to this cleanse, I was just getting all out of control, like completely out of control with food addiction and everything. It was crazy, and I was feeling it, and it doesn't feel good, especially if you've ever reached a level of health that's better than where you've been, and then you go back some. It doesn't feel good at all to go back. But my expectation was that my labs were going to show, because I did labs to start this all off, because I wanted to see what would change over the 10 days/30 days. And I thought my expectation was that the labs were going to show metabolic syndrome, hyperglycemia or prediabetes, hormonal problems, syndrome X kind of stuff, And when I look at the labs, I look at it from a holistic perspective. It's called functional blood chemistry analysis. And when I look at labs, I want to look at the whole person, right? So it was really fun to evaluate my own labs. But what happened was when I got them back, I was surprised to see that none of that existed. And I sat with that. I was like, how is that not true? Because I feel so shitty, But what happened was it's just become a testimony to doing things like this on a consistent, regular basis over a long period of time. So coming from being obese and food addiction and bulimia and things like that, I really get yo-yo syndrome. I get it inside and out, and I don't want to continue living my life that way. And so it's important, because when you start to look at how you're living your life and the foods that you're eating and why you're eating those foods, then you really start to learn a lot about yourself. But if you do like healthy choices over a long period of time, and trust me, I don't do cleanse approved foods every single day of my life. Like, I have my own fair share of things that I love, like hot wings and quiche and things like that. It's just I don't typically eat those foods on a regular basis. So then I've been doing this for a while now, and it shows on my lab work. So my expectation with my labs are going to be horrible, and when I get them back, I'm like, oh, those might be actually the best labs I've ever seen. But I've been doing this for a really long time with consistency, right? And it's just really exciting, because I did see some deficiencies and some problems like high homocysteine and a few other markers that were high and that relate to a zinc deficiency and folic acid deficiency and things like that. And it's important. I'm so excited to know that, because if I didn't know my homocysteine was high, I wouldn't be able to change it. And people with high homocysteine have a 2 times greater risk for Alzheimer's, and I do want to do everything I can to avoid that. So I'm just going to change it. And it's a simple nutrient that I need to add into my diet so I can change it. So, all in all, I just learned where my deficiencies lie. And I learned that my consistency to my health care is paying off. So, I truly believe that we're aging way faster in this society than we need to. We're under way too much stress. We have way too many toxins. We eat way too many fast foods and processed foods, and we're not taking care of our body. We're just not. As a culture, we're not taking care of our body. And so sharing this with you because I want you to know the impact that those choices are having on your body. And like for me, having high homocysteine, there are no symptoms with that. There are no symptoms with that. So how would I ever know if I didn't take my blood work? And how would I ever know there's a folic acid deficiency? Or how would I ever know there's a zinc deficiency? There's no symptoms that go with those things. However, they do lead to long-term chronic problems over time if we don't correct the problem, correct the deficiency. So I'm curious if you've ever had any functional blood chemistry analysis. You like that term? That's actually the term we use in my world of lab work. It's different than what a medical doctor does. A medical doctor looks and he says, oh, are you in range or out of range? Your glucose is high. You need insulin. And I personally would look at your lab work and go, oh, your glucose is high. So how are your liver enzymes working? And how are your adrenals working? And how is your digestive processes working? Because I want to look at the whole body and see how those things relate to each other so that we can get to the root cause of the problem. So the root cause may not be an insulin deficiency. The root cause may be detoxification pathways insufficiency, maybe metabolic syndrome, and maybe a digestive issue where you're not pooing or absorbing your nutrients, and so you have these deficiencies or toxicities that are creating these symptoms that then show up on the labs. And then the medical model's way is to prescribe drugs or surgery to suppress a symptom. My way, functional blood chemistry analysis, is about evaluating the body as a whole and prescribing the appropriate nutrients to reduce the toxic load or to enhance the deficiencies and enhance the functionality of the body so the symptoms go away. So anyway, I'm sharing that with you, and I'm curious if you've ever had that before. If anyone's ever looked at your labs in this way, you might get that from a functional medicine practitioner. You would probably get that from a naturopath. So if you have, I would love to know in the comments below what you found out, what you learned, and what that process was like for you, and what you did about it, and how it went, and did you do a follow-up and that kind of stuff. I'm just really into the story, so thank you for sharing with me, and thank you for following me on this journey, and I'm here for you if you have any questions. All right, namaste.